what's up, folks? What's up? Okay, let me just figure out what I'm doing here. I usually start with a song, but tonight I'm going to do things a little differently. We will get to a song, but it's going to be a little different. Hold on. So let me just pause my little thing here. Cool. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. Let me know. It looks like everything's going through the system. The stream looks like it's good. So, hey, happy Monday, everybody. It's been a while. And I think the last Monday night show I did was 2 weeks ago or something, just before we went to NAM, right? But we're back, and the funny thing is we're going to be off for another couple of weeks after this because I am going on vacation this Friday. But what I'll try to do is, while I'm away, if I can, I will stream, but it won't be a regular Monday night show production type of deal like we have on our regular Monday nights. But anyway, hope everybody's well. Let me go to the chat and see who's in here. I've got a bunch of screens running tonight, so it's going to be kind of funky, but I'll get through it. Zach Thong's in here. How's it going? Ben Coombs, how's it going, Ben? Saw you released a video today, and I did watch it, the slide, I believe it was. Yeah, I can't play slide, so I like watching other people play slide, but I can't play slide. We're crap. Layla's guitar daddy's in the house. Cool. Dave Ars, how's it going, man? Hung out with Dave and some other folks this morning in Ladybug and Nocturnal's show. That was quite interesting. They had a troll come in and do some stuff, so that was kind of interesting. But anyway, there's all kinds of people out there, folks. Rick Effner, how are you? Nice to see you. Hopefully you guys, if there's any issues with the stream there, just let me know. Joe Hervey, what's going on? Yo. Metal Hervey, I call him. And let's keep going down here, make sure we don't miss anybody. Alex Radford's in the house. What's going on, Alex? I think Alex went live just the other day, I believe. I wasn't able to jump in, but I did see that in my archives it came up, but I didn't see it come up as a notification, so I missed the live part, but I will watch I usually try to get all the replays in and everybody to subscribe as far as the live streams. For the most part, it's hard to keep up sometimes. Let's see. Who else? Bam Ozzy. It must be late, Bam. Thanks for joining in. Always appreciate your attendance and your participation. Just looking at my iPad. Hold on. Right there. And keep going down. Will, how's it going, Will? Huge rumor. You old silly cow. He's saying that to Ben. Okay, I must have missed something then. But hey, it's all good. All right, I'm still going. Black Country Blues, how's it going? Thank you for joining us. I'm almost done here, folks. Chicken Guitars is in the house. How are you? Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well and that you're enjoying summer. Scott Connor, how are you? I heard Scott on the show this morning with Nocturnal. Everybody was having some fun on that show. Scott was on fire. I guess you can't even go watch the replay because I think she actually deletes most of them. But you can go check. It might still be there. And let's see. Just don't want to miss anybody here. Keep going. If you have a question for me, by the way, just go ahead and tag me because then I will be able to see it. We do have a little bit of an agenda tonight, and we'll try to get through as much of it as possible. I don't think it'll be an issue. We're going for an hour tonight, and we're going to done at 8, so Ben's show starts at 8. Ladybug, hello. I started speaking a little bit southern when I was in Nashville, but it didn't stick. I was trying to blend in. But I don't know. I guess nobody bought it. Because even the people at the airport when I went there, the guy at the TSA when I was going through, he said, "You're from Canada, right?" And I said, "How'd you know?" He said, "I can usually spot them." He was laughing as I was saying y'all. Let's see. Who else do we got? Todd Flowers. How are you, Todd? There we go. I think I'm at the bottom here. I think I've got everybody. Rick, I've got Phil Mosley's in here. How are you? I saw Phil on with Dave R's guitar on Wednesday night. That was fun. And I know Dave R's got a new show starting, I believe, this Wednesday with Brian Stewart. They're going to be starting something new, and that'll be a fun time because those two are pretty entertaining. So check that out. I don't remember what time. I think it's at, I'm going to say it's 9 Eastern, but oops, Dave, you let us know in the chat if I'm correct or not about that. All right, I think we are down. Did you say guitar? I did say guitar, Scott Connor. I always say guitar. And I noticed some other people in Nashville were saying guitar, so I'm not the only one. Chicken Guitar says, have you been looking at real estate in Nashville? Yes, folks, that's the big news. I am moving to Nashville. Yeah, I hope, I guess Chicken Guitars gave it away. I'm sorry. But yeah, we got back and my wife was dead set on it. So there you go. We're moving to Nashville. I don't know what day or what time or when or whatever, but it looks like that's happening. So I'll have to work on my accent a little bit more because it could be difficult. All right, there we go. Dave R says it's at 9 Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, his show on Wednesday night, and it will be with Brian Stewart. So that will be awesome. Denny Allen, how are you, Denny? We've got a bunch of people in here tonight. That's awesome, guys. Thanks for coming in. Brad Miller just got home. How are you? Thanks for jumping in. You had a crash course on Southern accent, Brian. Yes, I certainly did. Todd says you were blending in with guitar. Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of folks down there were saying guitar, so I blended right in. Scott Connor says, seriously. Seriously, man. Stay tuned for more information. All right, so what are we doing tonight? Okay, I've got some stuff here. Oh, the new name. Let's address that because I've gotten some questions on that because everybody's wondering why is Six String Brian and not Brian Cote and all that stuff. So anyway, I just decided to do a little bit of rebranding, and I figured it was the time to do it while the channel was, pretty small and just kind of growing right now. So instead of waiting, a year down the road to do a rebranding, I was kind of weird a little bit, like just using my name. I don't know, just I had a little bit of a conversation with the Tone King when I was in Nashville, and he made some good points about using your real name and stuff, and so I started to think about it, and I knew I wanted a new graphic and some other things, branding wise to do. So that's really what's behind that. And as far as the name, I couldn't think of anything, so I just came up with Six String Brian, and it kind of stuck, and I ran it by a few people, and they said, yeah, this has a ring to it, and didn't seem like anybody else had it online. So there you go. That's how that came about. So if you see me in other chats or anything and you see Six String Brian, you'll know it's me. Guitar Hack, how's it going? Hope you enjoyed your first day back to work, buddy. Guitar Hack was here on Friday. He came up to visit me, and we sat down in the studio here and played some guitars, and we also looked at some of the stuff with the Helix. I don't think Hack is going to be a Helix convert anytime soon. Maybe down the road, you never know. But there is not that there's a huge learning curve, but if you're really used to using analog gear and you get into all this digital modeling and stuff, and with all the options available to you, it can be a little overwhelming. So I totally understand that. But yeah, we had some fun, and we did a live stream actually that day. So if you haven't caught that, definitely go back to my channel. It's on there. It was about an hour and a half, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs, and I think we should do that more often. Together in the same studio and so forth is a lot of fun. It's okay to do the hangout thing and everything, but sometimes it has a different vibe when you're both in the same room and picking up guitars and we're talking about stuff. It was a good show. I really enjoyed it. After watching it back, I thought it was one of our better ones. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Okay, Guitar Hack's on his phone. Cool. So anyway, that's all the thing with the name change. There's nothing more complicated or more serious than that. It's just I wanted to rebrand a little bit. I'm still using my name on other social media things, but I figured for the YouTube thing, since it's fairly new and it's still small, it might have been a good time to do that. And, instead of wait down the road, a couple of years and then all of a sudden confuse everybody as we go. So yeah, as you know, I went to Nashville a week ago. Yeah, it's over a week ago now for NAMM, and I was there early. I was there on the Monday before NAMM started on a Thursday, so I was there Monday. So I had a chance to kind of visit and do some stuff, and I saw a lot of cool stuff. It was we went to the Grand Ole Opry. We saw a backstage tour of that. We went to the Country Hall of Fame. We did Broadway, I think, probably 4 or 5 nights while I was there. It was amazing. Broadway has such a feel to it, and just walking down the street and listening to the bands that are playing there, and just had the vibe, right? And I really, really enjoyed it. And it was my wife's first time there. I had been there one time before, but the time that I was there in January 2019, I really didn't get a chance to visit. I was there for a photography conference. So this time I really, and this was in January when I went last time. So, it was, winter and so forth. So this time I really got a chance to take it all in and to experience it the way I wanted to. And it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. And what we'll do is I'll show you some photos of that trip. I won't spend a whole lot of time on that, but not necessarily the guitars and stuff we saw at NAMM, but some of the other things that I did at NAMM, maybe, or at Nashville, that I'll show you guys. And it was fun. I really, and I can't say enough about how Gibson treated us. Got the invitation to go to that VIP party, and got the custom shop factory tour on Wednesday morning. And man, I was just blown away by the hospitality that these folks shown me. And, who am I, right? I'm just a little YouTuber here, just doing my thing. And, thanks to Eric from EVH, who, gave a good word in for us, and Al John Go made it all happen. And man, I couldn't have been treated any better. So I'm definitely happy about that. And I'll tell you something, when you see these people, when they're working in that custom shop or any of the factories, I didn't get a chance to see the USA factory or the Epiphone factory. I did have passes to go to all 3 of them, but I just did the custom shop because just, ran out of time and doing other things. But I think after seeing the custom shop stuff, that was quite mind-blowing as well. So, but after seeing what goes into building these instruments and how these people are so dedicated, and they really take a lot of pride into it, man, it's quite impressive. So I'm happy that I got to see that and got to speak to some of these people behind the scenes. And there's a whole different vibe there now. I was talking to a couple of the guys that were working there, and just asking what's the atmosphere like after the new ownership. And it's really, they said you come to work now and people are smiling, and between the management teams and the employees and stuff, it feels more like family. There's more work-life balance. There's less stress on not knowing if you were going to have a job or what was happening with the whole financials of the company and everything else. So they've really turned the ship there. And I know there's still stuff going on with lawsuits and all that crap, but I'm talking about the ground level people that make that company and what they're all about. And I was very impressed with some of the conversations and some of the stuff that I did see. Let's see. I'm just going to look and see if there's any questions before we carry on. And what we'll do is we'll go through a couple of the photos after I take these few questions that I did see pop up here, if the chat can stop jumping up on me. Bam says, I see you didn't convince him to take the traditional and managed to keep your iron. No, Guitar Hack, he did play the traditional and he liked it, but I guess he wants a different type of burst on it, so he did not buy it. So it's still for sale, but there's a guy where I'm going on vacation that wants it, or says he wants it, so that might be already sold. I never say it's sold until it's gone, so right now it's still available. But no, he did not get the R9. Sorry. It's not going anywhere. It's right back there. Well, you can't really see it on camera, but it's still here. Trust me. Let's see. But all three graphics at the bottom have... Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm saying some of my social medias, I'm not going to change my Instagram. I might change the Instagram one to 6-string because that's a new channel that I created after I launched the YouTube thing, Brian Cote Music. So what I might do is just change that to 6-string Brian. But my Facebook and my website, obviously, I'm not going to change those. Those are set in stone. But what I might do is change that graphic so that I only have a couple of things there. And so... it's a work in progress, let's put it that way. Rick says, I don't know, I think you should keep guitars as your focus and keep it in your name as well, Chicken. Oh, you're talking to Chicken Guitars. Gotcha. Yeah, Chicken Guitars is a cool name. I don't know. I don't think you need to change that. I mean, you can if you want. It's everybody's, your personal choice of what you want to do with your channel, but I don't mind that. That's a cool name, actually. I saw where Phil McNice crashed a party. Yeah, I know. And I didn't see Phil at the party, but I did see a bunch of other people. I saw Joe Bonamassa. So I walk out of the washroom at the party, and there's a guy in front of me with a baseball hat, and he's got 2 drinks in his hand. He's walking, I guess, back to where he was sitting. And I'm just, I'm right behind him. And as he stops, I look, and it's freaking Joe Bonamassa. I'm there. Oh my God. Hi, Joe. How are you? And then shook his hand, and he was he gave the drink to some girl. I don't know if he was with her, but he gave it to her. And then I kept walking, and that's where Hack saw me walking across the floor. And then he says, Brian. I looked over and I went to see him. And I said, just look behind you. Joe Bonamassa's there. Hack says, oh my God, I need a moment, he says. So, needless to say, and we ran into him a few other times during that week, which was quite funny. We kept making jokes about everywhere we go, we're going to run into Joe Bonamassa. But he's a good guy. I think, sometimes you get to these places and you think, some people don't even know who this guy is. And because we're in the guitar community, we obviously know, but he's not like super popular with like mainstream, I don't think, but he's a nice guy. I thought he was pretty cool. Let's keep going down. All right, so you guys are just talking to each other, which is cool. So let me go to this screen. If I can change it over here first so that and I'm not going to go through everything. I'm going to go through this pretty quick, and if I stumble on one that's kind of interesting that I can give you the story behind it, I'll do that. So let me, I think if I do this, and will that work? Cool. All right, let me take this graphic down. Pull that off. All right, cool. So you should be able to see that on the screen. So this is Kid Rock's bar. And man, to me, that was out of everything I saw on that Broadway strip or whatever, that was the most impressive as far. It has, it's actually 4 floors. This floor up, the top floor has a band, the floor below that has a band, and then the first 2 floors are kind of one piece, like one band, and the stage is made up of 2 levels. You can actually, I don't know how much you can see this on your screen, but you can see the drummer, and he's playing like elevated, and on the bottom there's people there, and guitar player or whatever, a singer. It's a dual level. I think I might have a better picture of inside of it there and a couple of other ones. But man, what an impressive bar. And all his windows up front are all open, so when you're walking by, you hear that music loud and clear. You see them playing. And I'll tell you what, man, I was there on Monday when we got there. This was Monday night, and the place was friggin' packed, and it was like that all week. Even on Sunday morning before we left, we went walking down there around 10:30 in the morning, and their bands were playing, and there was people in the bars. It was unbelievable, the atmosphere there. And I don't know if it's just in the summer that's like that or if it's always like that, but man, that was a wild place. Yeah, let's see. Here's one of the first bars we went to, what bar was this? I can't remember offhand. There's so many of them. I think this was Second Fiddle or something like that. But this was one of the first bands we saw. She was an awesome singer. They played all kinds of stuff. They played country, but not, you'd think that they'd only be playing country down on this strip here. But these guys were playing Heart. They were playing Journey. They were playing all kinds of stuff. So really cool. This was in that bar. They had all the decorations and stuff, like the makeup of the bar and stuff was all using all these old radios and things of it. Really looked really cool. And I think these are all real too, I believe, and they're just up on shelves and stuff. I'd be a little concerned people would be walking out with them, but I guess I don't know if they're bolted down, maybe, but pretty cool. And there's another one. They have some old violins up there right behind a bar. They have, like, right there, they have these huge stand-up basses and all these old radios. Really cool vibe. I'm trying to remember what the name of this bar was, but I can't for the life of me. Let me bring down the highlights. No, I can't see this. Sometimes the neon signs, when you're taking pictures with your phone, it just blows up the light a little bit. Let me go back. This is Layla's. This is, I guess, I don't know, it must have something to do with Eric Clapton. But that's a really popular, well, they're all popular bars. Every one of them was really busy. Yeah, that one that we just saw here with these decorations and that band is called Second Fiddle, and it's right there next to Layla's. So that was there. That was the Monday night. There's a Kid Rock bar again. We saw these guys at one bar. It was called Bailey's, I believe, the bar. And man, these guys were awesome. They played a lot of Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, just Southern rock more. They did play a few country, but very little. They played Neil Young. They played some old stuff that they kind of did their own version. Great singer. I think the bassist was like a fill-in guy because they were kind of telling him what the notes were sometimes for some of the songs. So you must have, that's what happens in Nashville. Musicians just kind of team up with each other, and one guy will come in and do a gig with this band and do a gig with another band, and they kind of just do all that stuff, right? Chicken says, were the drinks expensive? No, the drinks weren't that bad, actually. I think in most bars, like these bars on Broadway, I think I was paying like $4.50, I think, for a beer, somewhere around there. But I didn't buy a whole lot of beer, obviously, because on this diet that I'm on, I'm not even supposed to have any. But on that week, I did have some. So yeah, these guys are really cool. And this guy was playing a brand new Les Paul, the new 60s standard. And I went to talk to him when they were taking a break and stuff, and he was really cool. And he was telling me he just got that guitar and he really loved it. So he's got a couple other ones, older ones as well. He didn't have them at the gig, but really cool. So these next pictures here, they're not, well, they're Nashville, but they're in a place called the Gaylord Opryland Resort, and they're outside of Nashville a little bit. They're right next to the Grand Ole Opry, and this is where I did the photography conference when I went back a few years ago. This place it's all these trees and this river and all this stuff is inside a building, if you can believe it. It's insane how big it is. And now they have this whole water park when I was there, they were building, but now it's functional and it's in operations. So it's amazing place. They have waterfalls in there. And there's my wife, Elaine, just kind of hanging out with her cool hat. They have this huge fountain in there. What a place, man. It's insane. And there's my wife shopping. I put this picture, I think, on Instagram or Facebook, and everybody was commenting on it because they were talking about me shopping for guitars, and she's shopping for shoes. So I can't complain when she's out, looking at shoes and stuff. I can't say, oh, you got enough shoes, because I just have no leg to stand on when it comes to that stuff. So I just go with it. There she is. She found some shoes. So there she is again with this statue, I guess. So yeah, that's just Elaine. A bunch of shots of Elaine, flowers, all that stuff. So then we went to Guitar Center, and that's what I was shopping for. Oh man. This is a guitar that this is the R6 with the P90s, and this is a Guitar Center in Nashville that you went into this room. And it was just insane. Like I'm not always impressed with a Guitar Center. I've been to a few of them, and they're just, so-so, right? I'm not, doesn't do anything for me that much. But some of them have these rooms where they put all the high-end stuff. The only problem is that everything is locked down. You have to ask somebody to come and unlock it so that you can take the guitar and play it. But man, this was a whole wall, and there's a couple other walls next to it that it's just these nice custom shop Les Pauls, SGs, 335s. They had a wall that had a bunch of PRSs on it. They had a couple. They had another wall where it was just Fender custom shop. It was quite impressive, the stock that they had at the store as far as this type of stuff. And these guys, they go right to the custom shop and pick out exactly what they want. They say, I want, an R6. I want it this weight. I want it dark back, light back, whatever. And they get them right from the custom shop, which was really cool. But that's the one I want. But as you can see, it's quite pricey. This is US, folks. You got to remember I'm Canadian. But I did find a guy here locally that has a used one, and I'm trying to work out a deal with him to see if he'll take a trade and some cash on this, and that'll be like what I did with my R9, which was the only way I could really do that. So I couldn't have gone into the store and bought an R9 just, because they're just insanely expensive. Here's another shot of that room. This is still Guitar Center, but it was like outside that room. These are regular stock as far as the SGs. And then they have some other Les Pauls, a bunch of basses on the wall. They had some nice Ernie Ball basses up there too. And this is just outside the Bridgestone Arena. I didn't get a chance to go in there, but apparently that arena is built for, it's built for hockey, obviously, but they built it with the acoustics like that are, world class. Apparently seeing a concert in there is something spectacular as far as sound. But there was one concert there on the Friday night, I believe, or Thursday night. No, a Friday night that we were there. It was Michael Bublé or something like that. And I didn't really have any interest in seeing that, so we didn't see any concerts there. But I would have liked to have seen something there. Another shot there. This is right outside the Ryman. I did tour the Ryman. I don't remember if the pictures are in this batch of pictures, but took some photos. What a great place. And Joe Bonamassa was playing that Monday night, and we were leaving Monday morning, and I couldn't change anything. I'd already booked everything. I would have loved to have seen him in that place because it was quite spectacular. Here's another shot of Kid Rock's bar from the side where you see a bunch of floors there and stuff. I'm sure I've got a shot from inside. This is Jason Aldean's bar. He's got a couple of floors as well. He's got this crazy light system in there. This is inside Kid Rock's bar. You can see the stage. It's got a level on top where the drummer, guitarist, and bassist are, and then on another level where, here in this case, it was the singer. Two singers, actually. Two girls were singing. One was playing guitar. One was playing like a violin as well. But it's an insane place, man. See if I got a better picture here. And that was on American Badass, big bronze eagle right up on the wall there. It was amazing place. And this is on a Monday night that I took. I'm pretty sure this is all. Is it Monday? Does it say? It should say somewhere 2019, 16. It was Tuesday night. Here's the stage. You can see it better here. And it's quite early, so all this area is always packed, but there's a bunch of people on top here. But this band was amazing. These girls were just spectacular singers, guitar player. She played like violin, and violin, I guess it's called fiddle, right? But let me check the chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, Nocturnal, how's it going? Nice to see you. Glad you could make it. Ivan Carter, how are you? Just make sure I didn't miss anybody. EVH Gear TV, how's it going, brother? I will be talking a little bit about the Helix here in a few minutes after I'm done with this, because I did update to 2.8 and the new rev amp. I'm telling you what, man, what a spectacular. I'm glad I updated. I waited until when Hack came over on Friday. I didn't want to update before that because I didn't know if sometimes something goes wrong, and I wanted to be able to have it operational for when Hack was here. But Friday night I did the update, and man, I've been using that rev amp, and it's absolutely spectacular. And they've even got these new EQs in there, the tilt EQ, which is really cool because you can, if there's too much low end or too much of that boxiness, you can take that out and raise some highs, and it just makes a world of difference. So easy. So we'd be talking a little bit more about that in a bit here. So I just want to make sure, go through the chat, make sure we didn't miss anybody. But okay, cool. So carry on here. We're going to get through some of these quickly. Here's you can see the two girls are on the bar. One's playing the fiddle there, and the other one's got her guitar, and they're singing. And they're just, what a show. Amazing, amazing stuff. There she is there. It's a better picture. People were getting into it. She was playing that Charlie Daniels band there, Devil Went Down to Georgia, I believe it was, and people just loved it. Keep going. Here's a shot just down Broadway. You can see this is at night with all the lights and stuff. It's really cool vibe to that place. I prefer it more than Vegas. People say, oh, do you prefer Vegas or this? Because I've been to Vegas quite a few times. And I'd say, hands down, I would go to Nashville all day long before I go to Vegas. Not that Vegas is bad or anything, but I much prefer this atmosphere and the music and everything else. Here's a bar called John Rich's Redneck Riviera. Cool. And I'm standing right on the street here. These windows are all open, and I could basically reach over and touch the drummer if I want. You just stand there, and all these people are in the bar, and the bands are right by the window. So you hear the music, you can see the bands. You'll see a couple other shots. You can look right into there, and it's really cool. Same thing here. There was a stage a little farther from the window, but I'm looking inside the window. I'm not even in the bar at this point. I'm just on the street looking in. Here's the cowboy boot place. We didn't buy any, but apparently if you buy one, you get two free. I think my wife went in there one day when I was at NAMM. She went out shopping and doing some other stuff, and she said she went in there and some of the boots were like $1,000 a pair. So I think that's what they do. They charge you, a pretty good price on one pair, and they say you can have two, but you're really paying for it. I think they just say and make it look better, I guess. Soda, how's it going? Matt Harrison. Hey, Matt. Nice to see you in here. It was great to meet you at NAMM and hang out with you. It was awesome. Guitar Hack says, highly recommend Nashville if you've never been. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're into music. Absolutely. It's definitely worth it. There's Jason Aldean's bar. There's Old Red Bar. It's all Whiskey Bent Saloon. Here's another. Some of the stages are really small. Like you walk into the bar, and if the little corner, they got a stage, but they put a drum and they put a PA and they put everything in there, and it sounds absolutely amazing. The thing I found out, I found from all these bars and these venues and stuff, is the sound is amazing in there, and they're not overly loud. So when you go into these places, sometimes I've been to bars and watched bands, and it's just overly loud, distorted. It doesn't sound clear. The singing you can't really hear, but these guys here, these people who are putting these systems in these bars and running sound and stuff, they know what they're doing because it's all equally balanced. It doesn't overwhelm your ears. Like you could stay there all night and it was awesome. And you can hear everything, every guitar, every vocal. The drums are, perfectly balanced with everything. So I guess it's just, they're in the industry down there, so they know what they're doing. Here's another shot of that same stage. The Thin Roof is a cool bar too. I didn't go in that one this time, but last time I was there and for that photography conference, I actually had a job to go photograph a band in that bar, and it was a really cool place. Here's another shot, another band from, I don't remember what bar this was in, but anyway, after a while, it's just one after the other. Unreal. Here's a Harley I saw on the street, so of course I had to take a photo. I had that same bike back in like 94, I think, 92. I had the Fat Boy like that, exactly that color and everything. So I took a photo. Here's Dirks Bentley's bar with some bands in it. Okay, let me go through some of these. That's that same band that was doing all the Allman Brothers and that fun stuff. Let's see if I can get through some of these. Jack's Barbecue. Apparently they got some of the best barbecue in town. I did not eat there. We were going to eat there one night, but it was packed, and I said, let's find somewhere else. But apparently it's really popular. We did go to a place called Hattie B's, which was like, everybody told us, if you're going to eat any chicken or that type of stuff at Nashville, that's where you needed to go. And we went there, and there was a huge lineup outside, man. It was insane. But we stood in line and we waited and we got in. And you'd think when you get into one of these places where all this big lineup of a lot of people, that it'd be like you get in there, they seat you, and it'd be at a restaurant. But no way. You walk in, it's like going to McDonald's. You walk up to the counter, you say what you want, you look around, and find a table, and you're kind of on your own. But they had a huge lineup. We waited over 45 minutes just to get in to order, and then we ordered, and we found a table right away, which was good. And then we waited probably another 15, 20 minutes for our food. My wife really wanted to go there, so we went. But she said it was the best chicken that she's ever had, but for me it was like, yeah, it was all right, but it wasn't like spectacular or anything, but it was all right. All right, there's that. Oh, this is a cool. Well, this is Layla's, and this band was playing, and this lady here. Let's see if I get a better shot of her. She's in her. I think she's in her late 70s. I'm gonna say something like that. She got discovered on the internet too by Nikki Sixx. He had a radio show, and they've got a sign here, and I think somebody found her. She went viral online, and now she was always playing, but she's an awesome guitar player. I was like so impressed with her. She was picking, and oh my God, she plays like, geez, I could never keep up with her. No way. I don't remember what her name. They call her. I'm trying to read the sign here. Something Granny, the Granny guitars or something, but we just happened to be there that night when they were playing, and this is her daughter, I believe. So her and her daughter have a band together, and they play. I think they're both her daughters that are in this band. But quite impressive, let me tell you that. If I'm at that age and I'm up on a stage rocking like that, I'd be pretty happy. That's for sure. R2, what's going on, R2? Jasco Plumbing Supply, how are ya? Just looking at the chat, making sure I'm not paying attention to the chat as we're going through these photos, so I apologize for that. Let's see, just making sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, cool. We're almost done with the photos, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Here's another shot of the strip and Summer NAMM signs. Grand Ole Opry. We went there. That's inside the Grand Ole Opry. This was a little theater before you do the tour. They walk you through the whole backstage and everything, and they have this little theater, and it's pretty cool. It's not a screen. It's almost like 3D people, like holograms or whatever. So let me show you. So this here, we're watching this screen, and you see Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, maybe, I think, his wife. They're standing there, but they look like they're really there. Like it's like 3D. It looks like it's a hologram, basically, and they're going through the history of the Grand Ole Opry and, giving you the story behind it in this little video or whatever before you do the full tour of the place. But it's pretty cool, and I think we paid to do the tour because we went to the show that night at the Grand Ole Opry. So we bought the show and the tickets for the tour. Everything together was like, I'm gonna say $60 a person. If we just did the tour, I believe it was like 25 or $30. That's it. So that's not bad, for this type of thing. And there's another shot of the hologram. Same here. These are all holograms, and it looked quite impressive. This is a studio within the Grand Ole Opry, and that's where they shot the show Hee Haw, if some of you remember that show. But this is the actual studio inside, and that they did that. There's some plaques and stuff. Willie Nelson's plaque is in there, and all part of the people that made the opera. These are dressing rooms within the Grand Ole Opry. They have all these dressing rooms, and every dressing room has a theme type of thing to it. You'll see it's has a certain thing. Some of them are more like for the big stars. Some are for up and coming. They're very cool vibes to them. When you think of the people that were there, before, you're talking guys like Johnny Cash and insane amount of talent and people that have just been sitting there in these dressing rooms, and you're in there with kind of part of it. It's pretty magical when you're going through some of this stuff. Here's another dressing room. This one was like one of the diva room, I think they called it, where some of the people like Carrie Underwood and I'm sure Dolly Parton and some of these folks stay in. This was a more rocker type of room, because they have all kinds of acts. This is interesting because this photo here, or this painting right here, I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen, but there's kind of like a watermark. It's like almost like a yellowish kind of line in it. This is the original painting that was in there, because in 2010 they had a huge flood in Nashville apparently, and the whole thing flooded like up to that part. So that's how much water was in all these dressing rooms, and they had rooms where they had a bunch of equipment stored for people, old vintage stuff. It all got flooded in 2010 when they had that huge flood, and this is how high that water was. And they didn't restore this painting. I mean, they let it dry and stuff, but they didn't go back and try to remove the water stain on it, I believe, just because it was part of, to see what happened, and they show people, and this was an original art that was done by a real famous artist back in the day when the Grand Ole Opry opened its doors. So this is the actual stage inside. I'll show. I'm taking pictures of the amps and the guys' pedals and stuff. They're all set up, right? They have a house band and so forth, and how they set up their amps is pretty cool. I think I have a better picture, and there's another one here somewhere. Here's some of the mic stands. See the amps? They have all these like, sorry, they have like buffers or whatever, or acoustic paneling everywhere. And I did see the show that night, and it sounded amazing in that room. So like I said, it's all balanced. But the way that they mic their cabinets, it's not like they have a cabinet facing the audience. The cabinets are facing the musicians, and they mic them that way. And they have all this baffling and everything there. Here's another shot here of some Fenders. And there's another thing. See right here, you can see there's actually amps behind that, and they mic in front of this baffling. So the amp is coming through the baffling and into the mics, which is really some... I was just fascinated by how they were doing the production part of it. People were taking photos of all these things, and I'm back there taking photos of how they set up their amps and and all that stuff. This is inside. This is like the circle, but we did take a picture in the circle, but this is what it looks like if you're on stage and you're looking out at the Opry. And all these seats are like, you'd find in a church or something. Basically, they're just these long seats. They're all numbered. And we went to the show that night. We were sitting up in the top part, but there's a lot of room. Like you would think, you're not like all crunched in together. They all have a lot of space in between, so it's very comfortable sitting there. It's not like some of the concerts I've been to where you're like everybody's on top of each other. So it was really cool. Here's another shot of it. You can see the seats a little better. Here's another shot from this on stage. It's the same thing. Here's the center. You see that wood, that little circle. That's a piece of wood that they've taken from the original Opry, which was the Ryman, and they put it into this new building when they built this, I believe in 1974, I think is when they built this particular building. And that's kind of like that famous circle that if you stand in, you've made it when you get on that stage and you perform in that circle. There's now you can see the stage from the other side of it. So that's that. Let me go back here. And then there's a bunch of stuff that I took pictures of at the Opry. They had Johnny Cash's guitar there with his suit and his stuff. This is kind of like all the walls and stuff in the hallways. They have all these old posters and concert footages and stuff. Here's the actual song sheet for Graham Pearson's Sleepless Nights. They had a bunch of these things as well. Again, more old stuff. Just really cool history there. There's an old telly. An old Gibson. There's Mary Lou Harris Grammys and awards. There's her gold album, one of them. This is, I'm trying to see, who is this one? The guitar is, oh, jeez, sorry. Can't read the sign, but anyway. There's some more awards for Garth Brooks. This is a Les Paul. I took a picture of this because there's a Les Paul that I really liked when I saw it. It's an Epiphone actually from Jared James Nichols, that he's got his own signature model, and it's basically the same thing as this, a P90, no, one pickup, one volume, one tone, exactly like this. But this was back in, this is one of the guitars that the Judds, one of the Judds that I guess Winona, I believe her name is. This is her guitar, W2. So it was made in 2000, I believe, for her. And it's funny that she uses the same type of guitar that's really popular with blues players and stuff. So I found that pretty cool. And this, I think, was at the Country Hall of Fame, these photos that I've got here. Yeah, these are all an old Cadillac in there. Bass. This guitar was kind of different. All right, let me check. Okay, I think I'm going to try to jump to the end here, see if there's anything else interesting. Oh, this is kind of cool. This is the actual Trans Am from the Smokey and the Bandits. I loved that show when I was a kid. I watched that movie so many times, and this is the actual car. They have it at the Country Hall of Fame. I'm trying to see. There's a different picture. There's a couple different. It's hard to get a good picture of it because of where it is and the amount of room you have to actually get back and take a wide angle shot. And I didn't have the proper lens really to get the shot, but I kind of took a few that are, here's some of the story behind it. There it is again. There's a shot inside. There it is. You can see inside of there. There's Johnny Cash's guitars. And then there was this kind of wall where all the names and the plaques and a little bit about everybody are all there. We've got, George Strait, Hank Williams, Elvis, Minnie Pearl, Johnny Cash, a bunch of them. And this was at NAMM, so I'm not going to go through a lot of these because I think you've seen most of these pictures from other folks online. Just want to see if there's anything. And this was at the Gibson party. There's a guy that played at the Gibson party. Did I get a picture of him? He played at the Grand Ole Opry the night before. His name is Ray Wiley Hubbard. If you haven't seen or heard of this guy, check him out, man. He's pretty cool. He's an old guy, and he reminds me a little bit of Neil Young here in Canada, but he's got his own style, his own thing. I've never heard of him. I'm sure some of you guys probably know who he is and stuff. But he played at the Grand Ole Opry the night before this event here at the Gibson VIP party, and he ended up playing there. So this guy right here. Yeah, and his name is Ray Wiley Hubbard. Really cool guy, man. He's got a cool vibe, and he's got some interesting music. He's been around forever. Apparently, I didn't know of him until I saw him in Nashville. But all right, let me just check out the chat a little bit here before I carry on. Did you check out Exotic Guitars? I did check them out. I didn't really have a chance to play them, but I looked at them and kind of held one and stuff. But I didn't sit down and try them out or anything, but they look pretty cool. I saw Jared debut his guitar at Winter NAMM. He was playing a Seymour Duncan. Yes, it's a Seymour Duncan that's in that guitar, EVH. All right, cool. Let me just go down. All right, cool. Dale Palmer, how are you? If I miss anybody, I am terribly sorry. I'm trying. Snake Farm, yeah, that's his song that he played there. He played at the Opry. That song, I guess he's known for that song. It's really good. JP Pagadu is your name. Thanks for jumping in. It's a new name. I don't think I've seen you before, which is cool. Yes, Snake Farm is Ray Wiley Hubbard's, I guess, big hit, and he was playing that. What a cool dude. And we didn't expect on seeing him there because we saw him at the Grand Ole Opry the night before. Me and my wife were sitting there, and he walks out on stage for the Gibson VIP party. And here's the whole bunch. They were doing the jam at the end of the night. We have, Chris Isaac is on there, and these great artists, awesome guitar players. What a night. I was blown away by that. To be able to attend that was pretty special. Pretty special. This is inside Carter's Vintage, I believe. Yeah, Carter's Vintage. Took a few pictures. There's Hack and Brian Stewart walking around, checking out the guitars. Some basses there. So I'm just going through real quick here just to try to get to the end because we are running short on time. This was one of the most elaborate guitar, I guess, finishes, builds. I don't know what to call it. It had like almost 3D paint where this kind of stream is running down the center. This is a frameless guitar, by the way. I'm pretty sure this guitar was upwards of $10,000, but the finish on it, I mean, it's not for me. Like I wouldn't go out and buy that. It's just, I know I'm pretentious, but I'm not that that pretentious. I don't know. It's a little much for me, but I do appreciate the work and what that thing is as far as a piece of art. But honestly, if I had $10,000 to go spend on a guitar, it wouldn't be that one. I'd rather go buy a custom shop Les Paul or something of that nature, which is more my vibe. But I did appreciate the art that was put into this. And when you look at it in person, you can actually see the depth of the 3D type of look, because that's a piece of wood that's carved in there, and the top is carved as well. And then it's really, really cool. I think there's a couple of videos online of it. So if you have a chance, check it out. You probably get a better look at it. Okay, let me go here. Cool. Yeah, that guitar was super crazy. It's kind of hard to see in the picture, but here's a Gibson stage, and we're down to the end almost. Here's a Hack with his favorite guitar ever. This was an R9, and I believe Lemon Burst, I think it was called, something like that. And if anybody does want to buy it for Hack, they are selling it at Guitar Center in Nashville. We took a picture. I don't have it here, but we took a picture of the actual tag with the serial number and everything. So just in case, but I'm sure it's crazy. Well, it is expensive. And then you do the conversion to Canadian, and yeah, a lot of money. There's some other custom shop. This custom shop SG was phenomenal. I really dug this one. I think they said it's going to sell for about $4,500 American. I can't remember the model name, but it was a really nice SG. It was in Guitar Hack's video when they did the walkthrough. This is a Taylor booth upstairs, and I took some shots from up in their booth. They were separate from the floor. They were kind of like on a second level or whatever, and when you look down, you could see the whole show. So I went up there and took some shots on the last day I believe I was there. So it gives you kind of a bird's eye view of the whole show, which was pretty big, but it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be smaller than the winter one, but I did think it was going to be a little bigger. But I was happy with that because, like I said, it was very manageable, and the most of the stuff was geared towards guitars, which is what and they had a whole pro audio section in the other corner, which I went to check out as well, because that's what I was there for work. And I needed to check that stuff out and talk to some of the vendors, because we are implementing some of that stuff at the studio at the college. So, part of me going down there, being funded by the college, was to check that stuff out. But most of the show was dedicated to guitars, guitar players, pedals, that type of thing. So this is more like the top view. So it is pretty big. Once you start walking around there, I walked through there the first day, and then the second day we walked around again, and there was things I didn't see the first day, or I missed, or I just overlooked. So I wouldn't say it's super small. There we go. Get there. And that was a cool little sunset from there's a bridge that you can cross Nashville, and it's pretty cool. We walked on that on the Friday night. There's a picture of Elaine, a picture of me. See how it looks. if you take your photo with a phone or something, the phone is going to adjust to give the best light to the person, and it's going to blow out the background. When it does that, this is how it looks. But when you take it with a real camera and you properly set your settings, you get this. So big difference. So I would, that's what happens. If you put something in automatic and you just click the shutter, you're going to get this. But if you kind of know what you're doing and you can set your settings manually, you can get stuff like this, which is what we really see with our eyes. But just thought I'd show you guys that. This is a little photography angle, I guess. What would you guess the attendance was? I don't know. I don't know what the attendance would have been overall over the 3 days. I'm not sure. And again, here's, trying to play with the lighting and stuff. It's difficult. And I think that's pretty much it, is it? There's just Nashville at night from that bridge. And here I am at the custom shop, or that's at the Gibson booth. I was going to buy this Flying V, but it was, I think, 10,000. So I said, nah, I think I'll wait. It's not pretentious enough. But it was cool. It was cool. Let me see. Manual for life, chicken. Yes, yeah. If you're taking photos with your phone and stuff, your phone does a pretty good job at balancing everything. But if you're taking it with a real camera and a lens and stuff, learn how to use it in manual. That way you've got total control of everything and you're going to get better shots. And here's me with the Tone King. I met him on this is the Tone King and his buddy True Shack. And True Shack's real name is Brian as well. I don't know I can't remember his last name, but had a really good conversation with him on Saturday. I hadn't seen him all week and I was kind of disappointed I didn't get a chance to meet him. And on the last day, I decided to go there. It was a public day, so my wife could come with me. So I wanted to kind of show her the show, and we ran into him one of the first things at the Gibson booth. So I had a long, about 20-minute conversation with him. Really nice guy. Really enjoyed, speaking with him and stuff. Here's another shot. And there's the Gibson band. I got a chance to video that and take which was Al John there, and they're going to use the video in some of their promotions. Gibson is I gave them permission to go ahead and do that. It's the least I could do with everything they did for me. So that was them jamming out. And here's me with some EVH stacks out there. And that's pretty much it. Oh, that's Billy Sheehan. And the last day, and pretty much at the end of the day on Saturday, I ran into Billy Sheehan. I was going back to the Line 6 booth to check out the new Power Cab Plus, the 212 Power Cab. And who's standing there? Billy Sheehan. And he's got this monstrosity of some bass guitar that some guy built and brought it over to him for him to try. And as he's trying it, I shot a couple of shots. And after he was done, I shook his hand and said hi to him and stuff. Really nice guy. And if you haven't seen the interview that EVH and Gear TV did with him on Sunday, I definitely highly recommend it. Awesome interview, and Billy's an awesome guy. Has a lot of good insight, and he's been in the business for so long. That really cool. All right, we're almost at 8 o'clock. Oh, geez, 7:59. My God, it took longer to go through all that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't have time to go through the Helix stuff that I wanted to go through. So what I will do is later on this week, I will go live again. It'll probably be in the afternoon sometime on maybe Thursday, I think, because I am leaving on Friday. So if I have a chance, maybe even tomorrow, I'll see. I think I'm working from home tomorrow. So if that's the case, I will try to go live, because I'd like to show you. This is a new patch that I'm working on, and it's with the 2.8 software. I'm using the Rev. They have this new amp now with the Rev, and it's amazing. It really is. And I'll show you how I've got it set up. And it's not a really complicated patch. It's very simple. It's got an amp. It's got a speaker cab. I've got a couple of effects in there that I just have that I can turn on and off, like a chorus, a vibe, a phaser. I always use reverb and delay. And then I've got an EP booster at the end. And then I use a compressor and an EQ to kind of balance everything out and kind of get all my frequencies. So it's not a very complicated patch, but it sounds really, really good. It didn't take me long to get to a good sound using this amp, which I was very, very much impressed with it. I didn't think it was going to be that type of amp, because I've always heard Rev amps are, and it is a high gain amp and everything, but you can set it so that it has very much a different character depending on what you're trying to do. and I've set it up to have 3 snapshots. So I've got like a blues setting where it's some gain, and then I've got a crunch setting which is more gain, and then a lead setting which really pushes over the top. And then for my clean, I always use a JC, a Jazz 120, a Roland Jazz 120. So when I go to my clean patch, it just engages that amp, and then I do my settings with that. But not an overly complicated patch, but sounds really good. So I will definitely try to go live this week when nobody else is on, and I want to run through some of this stuff, and I'll play a little bit so you get a good sense of that. So I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to do that. So let me pull back and go back to my camera here, and we are at 8:01. I want to thank everybody for joining me. I think that's all I had. There wasn't anything. Yeah, that's it. So next Monday, I don't think I will be on because I am traveling on Friday to go on vacation for 2 weeks. When I get to my location, depending on what I'm doing that week or something, I might be able to go live. I just don't know yet. So I'm not going to plan a show like we've done here tonight. So I will let you guys know through social media or on the chats and stuff, and I will schedule my next show when that happens, because I'm going to be off for 2 weeks. So sorry. I need a vacation too, So anyway, so that's what's happening. And again, I will try to go live again this week to try to go through some of this Helix stuff, because I really want to show you guys this stuff because it's really cool. So I'm just looking at any last questions here. I don't think so. I want to thank everybody again. And yeah, that's it. So let me go to my new outro. I did have a new intro tonight. If you guys were here for the intro, you saw that. And let me put my outro there. And if I go to media 1. Cool. All right. So with that said, folks, thank you. And I will catch you sometime this week for sure. I really, want to push to try to do another live show to kind of go over some of this Helix, and this 2.8 update was pretty big. There's some cool stuff in there I'd like to show you guys before I go on vacation. And I will see you guys in chats and other shows, I'm sure. So be good and enjoy the summer. Play a lot of guitar. And yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. So take care.